Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Planet Nerdtooine. I'm your host, Nerdtooine, where we do a great assortment of comic-related content here. We do reviews, talk about any news in the comic space, and we also have interviews, which is what we'll be doing today. Unfortunately, I am going to be riding solo today. Year is not going to make it, so I'm just going to go ahead and trudge on without him. Well, he'll be back for next episode. Don't you worry, because I know everyone loves him a lot more than they love me. But that being said, let's get into the book that we're going to talk about today, Sketch Night. It's part of the Rook City Universe, which is an indie comic with a connected universe, which is something you don't see very often. And we have today, we're going to bring on the creator, Brayden, and talk about this amazing connected universe he has, and especially a book that we loved here so much on the podcast that we gave it a hooked by the book designation because issue 1 hooked us and we're in for the whole series. So without further ado, let's bring on Brayden. Hey,
Hey,
how are you doing, my friend?
good, good. Thank you for having me on and high praise.
Hey, listen, I wish we would have got you on sooner. Initially, we tried to do this whole like competition with Hooked by the Book. So we had
Yes.
like, it was going to be like a whole tournament. And ironically, the second we decided to no longer do that, we literally
Yeah.
got like 50 submissions for books. So we
Is that right?
probably we probably could have ended up continuing the whole thing, but
Yeah.
um it ended up not being the case. And I'm kind of glad because this way we can now just review the book and then just get right into interviewing the creators because as a creator myself, I love hearing all the little details and how it came about making this great comic. So what I want to talk about first,
Yeah.
what gave you the audacity? And I
Yeah.
mean that in the nicest and most respectful of ways, and a little jealous if I'm not mistaken, not lying. Um, have the audacity to create a connected universe in an indie comic because, like I said, that's not something that most comics ever do. And you started off from the gate with that. What gave you the idea to do that?
Yeah, 100%. So what I wanted to do, right? So you're 100% right. Where there are definitely some creators that are kind of too shy to do the whole universe thing. There are definitely some creators that I feel like the connected universe is used quite a bit. What I wanted to do was I wanted to create a city, Rook City, and the first comic was Haven, and I wanted to kind of fill it out. And when I came up with Sketchline, I was like, let me just fill up this city, and like these stories will go along with the same like timeline. And what you're seeing is you're seeing a moment or like an era of what is happening in this city, right? And so I wanted to connect it that way because I want, as the stories go on, the Rook City you get at the beginning of Sketch issue 1 or Haven issue 1 is going to be very different for both characters
Right.
at the end of their respective series.
No, I commend you for being that confident in what you have, and
Yeah.
it's very warranted from the books that you put out so far.
Thank you
So,
very much.
um,
Thank you very
but like
much.
I said, like I was talking about it with Year, like man, I couldn't imagine starting out that way. And
Mhm.
I was in awe of how good Sketch Night was. And for those who don't know, Sketch Night follows William Wilds as he navigates his powers, friendships, and graduating high school. Oh, and of course, a crime syndicate. And at first, it kind of gave off for me, and we talked about this before we started
Yes.
recording, how I kind of felt initially when I got before I started reading it. I was like, man, this looks kind of like a Spider-Man knockoff.
Mhm,
And
mhm, mhm.
I was so don't think I've ever been as happy to be wrong because
Yes.
what you delivered is not only its own thing and not
Yes.
Spider-Man like really at all,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
it circumvented my expectation because I kind of thought I knew what you were going for, and then you delivered something so much better than what I thought.
Yeah.
What went into creating this character William, and especially his powers because his powers are not the norm that a lot of creators would go to
Sure.
to make their superheroes. So what went into creating William and the his abilities?
Yeah. So really how sketching came about. So I'm like by day I'm a disability support worker. And what I wanted to do with sketch night is I'm around so many different types of people that oftentimes, especially with superheroes or whatever, don't get a lot of representation. And so what I want, literally how Sketch Night came about is, I was talking with some of my participants about what I do in comics and everything like that, and one of them wanted to help, um, kind of like had his own ideas and was very into comic books and stuff like that. And we sat down and we sketched out some ideas, and he was like, I think it would be so cool if someone could like sketch things to life and stuff like that. And like I took that and I was like, how do we make it cool? How do we make it interesting? Um, and stuff like that. And we really put the spotlight on, having this hero, William, with a disability, who is, as much, a hero, in the suit as he is out of the suit, is how I like to say it. I didn't want to go for something that was like, oh, he's just super when he has powers, right, kind of thing. And kind of have both of those. And yeah, that's how Sketch Night came about. I was super happy with the direction we went, with how the powers are laid out. And yeah, it's a fun time.
No, I and you could definitely see that passion in the character because when you're reading Sketch Night, it every page kind of just surprises you and in a
Mhm.
good way. Like again, like I was like, I thought I knew where it was going, and then it wasn't. And when you can circumvent my expectations or my predictions, usually means you got something good. Because in
Thank you.
most cases, I will read the first page and I'll have the entire thing. I know exactly where it's going and we're no issues whatsoever. So for me, like when I remember reading it and thinking, this has a lot of elements of a lot of different like hero type stories, but it felt extremely fresh. Because like you
Thank
said,
you.
the a main character who has a disability, they don't get representation very
Mhm.
often. And if they do, most of the time the disability defines them
Yes.
instead
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
inspiring them or instead of using that. Because a lot of people who don't know, I've worked with a lot of special needs kids myself, and
Mhm.
when you look at someone going through something like that who has a disability, they have to deal with so much more just to exist that most people don't understand. You know what I mean? So like to use that and still want to be a hero on top of all of that,
Mhm.
it's honestly kind of, like I said, refreshing because it's not the stereotypical like you said in the blurb on the Kickstarter. This world doesn't have any alien babies, no chemical
Yes.
reactions granting super speed, but there are enhanced people. And to have one of your enhanced be this this kid who has a disability, who has the ability to, and I like how you use the, like, Full Metal Alchemist inspired powers
Yes.
because
Yes. Yes.
it's very reminiscent of, like,
Mhm.
creating
Mhm.
something out of nothing like Full Metal Alchemist,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite animes of all time. And
Yes.
granted, I'm a little biased because they have a main character who's short in it, so of course I like it because 'cause I'm a short guy, but yeah, it definitely, when you look at, like, and a lot of people are very wary about superhero comics that aren't Marvel or DC for some reason, and your books tend to feel more like they belong in that kind of universe
For sure.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
should be on the shelves next to them because
Thank you.
they're great. Like
Thank you.
I am very picky. If Year was here right now, he'd be laughing hysterically. Picky doesn't even describe it.
Sure.
But I was blown away with issue 1 of Sketch Night, and issue 2 is already out or coming out soon.
No, so yeah, issue two is coming out soon. We have a couple Rook City one shots, by other, written by other creators. I wanted, there to be a way for other people to kind of play in the sandbox that is Brook City. So we have Kodiak, which is, the pre-launch is up, and that's written by Travis Gibb, who's a creator in the space. And yeah, so we're gonna release a couple of those one shots, and then Sketch Night issue two and Haven issue two, after those.
Man, it's a have and that's another that's a testament to you as a creator for wanting other people to play in your sandbox, because some people who are the
Mm,
exact
mm, mm,
opposite, like, oh no no no, this is my title, you can't write on that, how
for sure.
dare you think you could introduce something to my universe.
Mm,
And
mm,
it's a testament to how good your titles stand on their own. Like, each Sketch Night and Haven, they can stand on their own, but to get
thank
like
you.
in the same universe, it just makes it so rich, and
Yeah.
it's just a start. This is just the beginning.
Yes.
So,
Yo. Oh, for sure.
yeah,
Well, for sure. Right. And it's one of those things when I first um kind of had this idea of having them kind of be in the same city, in the same universe, and all that. Did this thing kind of popped up where I was like, I have to kind of be careful of how I'm going to go about it, but having them kind of play off each other and stuff like that. I want something where Haven issue 1 to Haven issue 12, let's say, you can read those and be like perfectly fine and dandy, right? Same with Sketch Night, right? 1 to 12 kind of thing. But if you read them both side by side, you just get more out of
right,
it, right? You just get a little bit more of that connection. You get a little bit more of seeing different facets of the city. You know what I mean? And then
yeah,
those are kind of the things that you can play around with, because it is a connected city, right? You can see how the city reacts to Sketch Night and the events that unfold there, and the events that happen in Haven that that affect, right, and having the city be this kind of like living, breathing ecosystem of things that happen, and one thing might affect another series, or the city in another series, and you're seeing that kind of in real time.
and so when you started thinking up Sketch Night, what made you decide to have him hide his powers? I know a lot of
Hmm.
superheroes do that to protect everyone around them, but I feel like
Hmm.
Sketch Night had even more of a reason to keep it to himself.
Yeah, yeah. So with sketch, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to drop you in, this is like maybe like 2 months, into the heroing sketch night, right? Where he like kind of has a handle on things, but like not he's not as experienced. He's not like the most, right? I don't want to drop you into that because of the action and kind of the flow of the story, but have it be in the beginning of issue 1, um where you're right, his friends don't know, right? This thing of like the pressure, and I did this with Haven and Sketch Night, where the pressure of the city, of the citizens who kind of like anti-enhanced sentiment is like encroaching, right? And people are just generally scared of not making it home one day, kind of thing, right?
Right,
And so I wanted this to be like this fear of, and kind of like any teenager, right, has as you're growing up, right, things are changing, everything, right, and you're just like, the people that I'm closest with, if they knew the real me. I think we all, right, as teenagers had this thing of like, hey, like what would my best friends, right, think of me, and you go through your own personal struggles there, and for sketch night, having that be, kind of, you already get the sense that it's already the case, that he's already kind of keeping up these lies, and then for in the book, having that be revealed to his best friends, right,
right.
and them being like, oh shit, our friend is this guy, right, this enhanced, right, and everything that comes along with the word.
Right. Well, it definitely has, like, with the anti-enhance sentiment going on, it kind of gives off in a great way, like early X-Men, where when mutants like kind of like first burst on the scene, people they didn't know how to deal with them initially.
Yeah.
It always, in humanity, if you don't understand, it goes automatically to fear. Always. Like, that's just how our bodies and our humanity is hardwired. And I think that might have been what helped give it that much more realistic feel, because
Hmm.
it felt like a real teenager that was actually going through a change like all
Yeah.
teenagers do, but instead of it just being puberty and stuff like that, it's actual powers. And I liked also, especially when it comes to his powers, how he kept adapting and
Hmm.
kept redefining like what he was using. Because, like you said earlier, Sketch Knight, he has the ability to what he draws becomes real.
Yes.
So throughout the issue, he's battling these different the different people, and it's like, okay, that didn't work. Let me try this. Let me try this. And
Hmm.
I like that trial and error. It it's really easy, especially when you're the creator, to make your main character like unstoppable.
Yes. Yeah.
It's
The
so
overpowered.
easy. It's so easy to
Hmm.
overpower him, and you did a very good job in this issue one of Sketch Knight in making him very powerful. Because I mean, the implications of being
Yes.
able to draw something to into creation is limitless.
Hmm.
But you I don't know if maybe because you gave it to a high schooler, that the high schooler is can't just automatically go to, like, he can make himself a kaiju for Christ's sake if he wanted to.
Sure. Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
not something he would think of just yet.
Yeah.
Just
Hmm.
yet, maybe. You know, because I don't
The
know.
kaiju episode is coming. All right, folks. It's in the works as of today.
Well, hey, not to toot my own horn, but if you ever want another person to play in your sandbox, I might be interested.
What?
Um,
100%. 100%.
but
Percent.
yeah, no, it definitely is. Because it did have a very similar feel to like the superhero comics that everyone knows and loves. It
Mhm.
has that like hiding the secret identity. It has the like, do I tell my family and friends? It had the going up against insurmountable odds. Like, there's a lot of things that have all those little superhero tropes in there, but you wrapped it in this really fresh new way, new
Mhm.
wrapping paper that I feel like a lot of people would really latch onto,
Yeah.
because again, it's not the stereotypical Spider-Man. It's not just a overpowered hero. It's this kid who wants to just do good,
Yes.
and
Yeah,
he has
100%.
these powers that he's learning how to deal with and learning how to use to better his city. And I definitely feel like a lot more people would jump on a book like this and be so excited that they were like, "Oh man, I gave this indie book a shot and it paid off in
Like
dividends."
the for sure, for 100%. Like I always say that I want anything I do to kind of go bar for bar with anything on a shelf, right? I say if you pick up my book, you'll be just as happy picking, it up off a shelf. If that were the case, and yeah, a lot of what went into making Haven and Sketchline and kind of issue twos and threes was not only looking at like what works with superheroes and in comics, but kind of also looking into like what people were annoyed with and what people were like kind of fed up with, right? And like, you know, I got a lot of like the continuities, right? And just like, the different runs and then like the status quos being reset and stuff like that. And from the onset, I really set out to do this where there wasn't going to be like a bunch of different runs by a bunch of different teams, obviously, but then to also have it be this thing where it's like for me stories ratchet up with stakes. You know what I mean? Your tension, your suspension is only as good as the audience believes in the stakes that you're presenting. And my issue, and I think a lot of people's issue with modern day comics, is that the stakes are just kind of really,
Non-existent.
really taken out. Yeah, I mean, like Batman's not dying, Superman's not dying, or if they do die, they're coming back, or you know what I mean. And it's like it's this thing of like it's a product more than it is a story.
Right.
And I really wanted for Sketchline to be this thing of anyone can live, anyone can die. Here are these three people that you get to follow: Lee, Barbara, and William, and what could happen to them is limitless as it is scary with the world.
No, and I when you look at I like when you look at this, the syndicate, the bad guys of your book of
Yeah,
Sketch
yeah.
Night, I don't know what it is about their setup. Like I feel like for me, it's just it gives me the like samurai
Mm,
like the modern version of like the Yakuza in film, but it's
sure,
your version. And I thought like and when I don't want to reveal too much, we'll do a little spoiler section towards the end where we say
sure,
other
sure.
stuff. Um, but there were surprises even with that syndicate all the way to the very end of the book. And that's one thing I think you did very well as well in the pacing, because you had it a very consistent pace, but then it just kind of like ramped up towards the end and
Yes.
with your stakes. Like
Hmm.
you it almost like you had it like a parallel. Like the stakes rose, so the pace rose.
Yep.
And it gave this like a true fear like oh my god this could end really badly
Yeah,
like
yeah, one hundred
and
percent.
that's like you said Marvel and DC books for the most part there are zero stakes. Oh, they're gonna reset the universe, everyone will just come back.
Mhm.
That like you said, a lot of people don't like that in modern superhero books, and I'm have to admit, for the most part, I don't even read superhero comics anymore because of
Right.
that.
Yeah,
So, like, when you sent
100%.
over a superhero comic, I was like, "All right, there's gonna be another superhero comic," and I
Mhm,
was
mhm.
so happy that I was wrong because, like I said, it's so and I keep saying it, and it sounds like a broken record, but it's a very fresh take on a very familiar genre, and
Yeah.
there was something every little bit of the book came together. The art is really stylized in certain parts and but it's very again, very much reminiscent of a standard superhero comic. And then you have like the really great lettering that changes depending on the emphasis of the
Yes.
specific scene. Like
Mhm.
and we talk about it on this podcast so much about how underappreciated good lettering is
Yes.
because when lettering is done well, you don't notice it. It's just a part of the panel
100%.
versus a bad lettering. You're going to be like, okay, this doesn't look right. There was never a part of your book where I was like, do I go here? Do I go there? It all just flowed very well. Now
It
that's a lot
flows
to do with the
nicely.
lettering, and so when you were looking into getting doing the lettering, what made you change like different for emphasis? Like what like not a lot of people do that. They just kind of just throw the lettering on the page in most
Mhm.
cases. So what made you go the extra mile with your lettering and to get it where it was in the book?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So like I always knew that lettering was super important. Making Sketch Night in Haven, one of the things I did was look up like people's lettering and opinions on lettering and stuff like that, and knowing that it could just be death if you have bad lettering and stuff like that. And so I very much lucked out. I checked out some people's portfolios, um, landed on Amal Desai, and he killed it, and he killed it. He interpreted a lot of my script, and working with him on Sketch Night in Haven is so much fun. Um, for Haven, we had this one scene where it's like this prison cell, and I wanted the lettering to like be kind of like echoing in his mind and like reverberating throughout the prison cell. And like we did like scratchy, like all over the page lettering there. And for Sketch Night, he ended up implementing the like really, really cool when different people are like thinking they have like their little character in the box, and it's like this there's such
Yes,
this small like little thing, right, where you could probably get that it was this person speaking without it,
exactly.
but
Right,
but
right.
it adds just like that hint of individuality and kind of flavor to it. I am yeah I take credit for the words on the page, but the lettering and how they're presented, he is a king when it comes to that.
No, and that's another thing that stood out to me, like, 'cause and not gonna lie, I kinda it when I saw that, it made me kinda rethink how I was
Mhm.
doing my lettering,
Mm.
Like, so I have it now that each individual character that's the actual character, not just a side person, has their own individual font, their own
Yep.
individual color. So like
Hmm.
if someone's talking off panel, for instance, if you're paying attention, you should be able to know who that is. So
Yeah,
like
just
yours, where you
from.
have the little logo, like their little
Hmm.
like who they are in the corner of the thought bubble, you know, you don't have to. There is no guessing. There is no like, I wonder
Hmm.
who's saying that. Even like you said, you could probably figure it out, but why make them?
Yeah,
Like, you know what I
well,
mean?
it's a
Like,
visual medium for sure.
exactly.
Yeah,
And that's
100%.
when you look at, especially when it comes to like fight scenes. I remember towards the end when there is that big like climactic fight.
Yes.
I remember thinking like, "Holy crap, this looks amazing!" And
Thank you.
the how you changed the way, um, even the bad guy was talking. I'm trying to blank what his name was. When they were in that fight, it has electricity to it. that
No,
that that was to me made even more of a difference and put it even higher up on my totem pole of awesomeness,
thank you.
because like,
Thank you very
and again,
much.
we lettering is something that is easily overlooked, and but when
Mhm.
it's done to such an extent to where it's its own like living organism in the
Yes.
comic, it changes the comic and for
Yes,
the
yeah,
better.
100%. I think that, um, to have good lettering is, like, baseline, and then, like, to have something that really takes it, like the next step up. And it's not, and we've talked about this kind of behind the scenes. It's not like loud lettering. It's not like, overindulgent with how it takes place, but it just enhances um every single element that's on the page. And that's when you hit that kind of lettering like that, it takes what sketch night is, and it makes it great, really. Honestly, yeah, I can't be more thankful for the people I work with.
Yeah, judging from experience, I know not only me, but I've spoken to a lot of different creators where they work with a creative team, and if it's not an easy going, it makes the creation that much harder. And it seems like with your team that you kind of are all on the same wavelength, and
Mm,
it definitely shows in what you were able to produce with sketch night when you have these brand new. And that's the other thing, people don't think original created characters, it's very easy to create them. It's not easy to maintain them.
yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
can to create a general idea of a character, or like to like just get a original sketch done or stuff
Mhm.
like that. Like that's easy,
Yeah.
but to like really give them a life
Yeah.
and to really give them something where it doesn't it feels like these characters are ones we've known for many years, when
Mhm.
it's not. These are the first appearances of these characters, and they just feel so fleshed out already. So could you like go into like what you go into when you create, like,
Yeah.
say your main characters, especially when they have
Mm.
powers? It's not it's got to be very daunting as well as very entertaining to decide what powers to use for your
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah, no, for sure. 100%. And it is this thing of like with Haven and with Sketch Night. I really wanted to drop you in the middle of it. I didn't want it to be this kind of like origin story, because everyone knows what a superhero is. You know what I mean? Like for sure. Could I have been like, and this happens, and then he gets the book and X, Y, and Z, 100%. But I think it's kind of interesting that piece isn't there. You know what I mean? And that's
Right.
something we can always like throw back to on later issues and stuff like that, and the audience stays to discover. But like, yeah, being in the middle of the action, especially for something superheroes, I think is important, because the audience, like, you're not going to show the audience like a different origin story than kind of like what they've already seen 100 times. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
What I really emphasize, and what I do is I want you to fall in love with the characters, um at least by issue one, like the characters. You know what I mean? And have it be this thing of and within issue one, you know what I mean? Like you are, especially when you're doing something original, you are, um, kind of ingratiating the audience into a world that they're not familiar with, um, and you don't have the luxury of a Batman or a Superman or a Spider Man of here's this like already kind of like preconceived notions or knowledge. So the if you're gonna add new elements into it, you really got to give them time, and so that's really what I tried to do. With the powers, I tried to make it, especially when you're going kind of for a power set like Sketch Knight, where it is, um, there's many different things he can do. You know what I mean? He can draw stuff to life. He can, um, you know, I have one page which is one of my favorites where he like sucks the guns up into the book,
Yes.
which is just so fucking sick.
Yeah.
Uh, which is just so when I got that page back, I was like, we're cooking with some good stuff. And then like he can like write something and like slap it down and like alter terrain and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And with that, I really wanted not only for this power set to be cool and intriguing and interesting that you don't really see. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't know of another superhero that can do exactly what Sketch Knight does, right? But to also give it enough time, so that the audience, um, kind of gets comfortable, with him using his powers, with him changing into his suit, with kind of these things, and then kind of what I hit you with in issue two, is a little bit more, right? And issue three is, I mean, gonna be crazy, but yeah, yeah,
Well, don't give too much away just
yeah,
yet,
of
because
course, of
because we
course.
we we if you're trying to tell them to talk about issue 3, most people haven't even read issue 2 yet. Well, no one's read issue 2 yet, but,
Yes, yeah, yeah,
um, and, like, back to the creating
yeah.
of
Mhm.
a character, like, when it's hard to explain to someone who hasn't done it,
Sure.
because coming up with things, that's the easy part.
Yep.
But finding a way to make them work within the world that you've created, that can sometimes be a hiccup, and it makes it harder for you to tell the story you're trying to tell if you've locked yourself into a corner
Mhm.
in terms of either what the abilities or how they got them. And I think it was a very smart move not doing like the origins, like
Yes.
Batman
Yeah.
Begins, where you go and see for the millionth time how he became Batman. When you throw someone in, especially to an original character, there is some trepidation, some like you as a reader, you're like, "All right, let's see if this indie comic can do
Yes.
it." And
Yes.
then once you read it, you're like, "Oh man, they did it. Oh, they did it. They
Hell
did it
yeah.
so well.
Thank
Yes, yes." And that's how I felt reading Sketch Night. And like I was talking about earlier before we got on. As a creator myself, sometimes I get really mad. It's hard to explain when I see something so good and I'm like, "Man, why couldn't I think of something like that?" Like, I remember the one panel that one page that really did it for me was when he was drawing his, like, 2nd suit, where he
Yes.
was, like, giving himself upgrades, and the way the lines come off of the page and
Mhm.
create this
Mhm.
vortex around him and
Yep.
then turn into the suit, I'm just like, "That that's so much better than anything I could have thought of." And it kind of gets me like for a split second, I'm like, oh, I hate him, but in such a good way. Like because
For sure.
it's not something, and again, that's hard for anyone who's not a creator is gonna be like, this guy's hating? That sounds kind of weird. But when as a creator, you understand
Yeah.
like it's just so much that can be done. And comics are so malleable. And when you are able to create something new and fresh out of this superhero genre that's been around for almost 100 years at this point, to be able to still tell a fresh story, it's got to feel pretty good.
It, yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. It does. It does feel good. It does feel good. With yeah, 100%. the praise is crazy, but I appreciate it. No, I know, but it is good, and I think it comes from probably uh a level of confidence I don't deserve, but have with 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 this. I'm very very proud and happy with what we're putting out. But yeah, it is this thing of, and I'm kind of with you where um as creatives there is a healthy level of kind of competition and who's doing what, and there are even pages that I see from other creators where I go, what, that just blew my mind,
Right.
and I have to like go in the lab and start
Yes.
cooking. You know what I mean? Like I can't go out like this 100%, and with everything I do with comics, I just want to do it with the most confident foot forward I can, and at the end of the day, what Sketch Night is and what Haven is my best take on the superhero genre, and it's going to be superheroes done, the Rook City way, and that hopefully people can also like and vibe with, and in the same vein of like kill 6 billion demons, right, or something like that, where it is its own thing. I'm That's the same way I look at Rook City and Sketch Night and everything. Is you are getting a superhero experience that is uniquely this.
No, that's a good way to put it. Like it's like I said, it when you get into this world, it feels very familiar because you
Hmm.
have these superhero tropes that are iconic, and you can see them woven into the tapestry of your book. And especially when it comes to sketch night, like you got this character who once they put on the suit, they kind of like become a little bit more cocky. So
Hmm.
it's almost like your sketch night where like you when you get into the studio, get into the grind, you put on the costume
Mm.
and you just do it. And I think that there's definitely room on the comic shelves for more than just Marvel and DC in the superhero space.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
Rook City, it's just starting, and I already feel like it's been around for a while. Like it
Thank you.
just like I said,
Thank you very
it
much.
feels it's so great. It's even in a superhero genre, it feels very grounded because even with the powers, these seem like very
Mhm.
organic and real people that that many people would know. Like if you have
Yes.
someone who is disabled, you kind of like okay, that seems that's real. You know what I mean? It's not like
Mhm.
some superheroes where it's just like, "Oh, so you're telling me that guy has a problem?" Like Peter Parker, for instance.
Mhm.
I like Spider-Man, he's cool and all, but he's pretty much always been depicted as the same kind of, like, good-looking white boy, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, how does he get all the girls?
Yeah, yeah,
What do you
for sure,
mean?"
for sure.
Like, because he's a
100%.
good-looking white boy, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, or yeah, for 100%. Or the iterations where he's like on the football team. It's like, well, yeah. I mean, that's how he
Right.
did that. He's on the football team. Yeah, no, that's something that I definitely thought about. And wanted. So, like, what I say is with Sketch and with Haven, the design philosophy behind kind of like keeping it grounded, but not keeping it boring is I find there are like two things, right? Is if you're going for grounded, usually people go too grounded, and it's like trudging through quicksand to
Right.
get to like the interesting stuff. And then if you go like super fantastical, like a Superman, you lose, right, all that like real human elements, right? And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to create here are these grounded characters, and that's why I went the enhanced route as well. Have it be these kind of like normal people that are just getting these abilities, kind of like mutants from X-Men, right?
Right.
Um, but then So have it be this kind of like grounded, real people take, but then have it be when the powers are on the page, when we are getting into that power stage, have it be super exhilarating, super exciting. Have the action. One of the things we put is anytime that a power is on being showcased, it is um just like that level of scale and that level of danger almost is ever present whenever it's being used. And I feel like, yeah, sketch night really is a balancing act of, I'm going to give you, kind of this grounded human story. We're going to follow these characters, but mixed in, woven in is this kind of like, again with stakes too, right? This life or death kind of thing with the powers, and they are this dangerous thing, right?
Right. Well, and that we talked about it earlier when it comes to like Marvel and DC, when the superheroes, they don't really, a lot of times there are no, even if they fabricate stakes, it's not
Mm,
real. Like,
yeah,
oh, the death of Wolverine for 25 issues. You know what I mean? Like
for sure.
there's it's not like, that's one thing that I feel indie comics do so much better than the big two,
Mhm.
is that they have stakes, because these characters could die. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? The
100%.
story could end. You don't, like, at least as far as I know, you don't have, say, there's going to be 30 issues of Sketch Night. If
Yeah,
you put,
exactly. Yeah.
you don't know.
Mhm.
This could be a long ongoing series. It could be just a few issues, and then there's so many different ways you can go. Where when the character is put in a situation that is life threatening, you're like, oh, wait a minute. Is this a one
Mhm.
shot? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of like have that like
Mhm.
real feeling of risk, and you don't know if there will be a next issue. Even if you plan for the next issue, there may not be a next issue when it
Yeah.
comes to indies. You know what I mean? Like, and indie comics, it's very brave and very bold to even make them, to just to that full stop, end of
Mhm.
statement. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for
So
sure.
sometimes you don't even know if you're going to get an issue 2, an issue 3, an issue 4. So when you deliver an issue 1 like this, it demands an
Thank you.
issue 2. You
Thank
know
you
what
very
I
much.
mean? And us here on the podcast, and I'm sure if Year was here, he'd be saying the exact same thing. We are so in tune with the what it takes and how hard it is to make it, and how hard it is
Absolutely.
to, not even, when I say make it, I'm not even talking about make it big and famous, just to make the actual fucking comic book. Like,
Yes.
so much goes into it, and you're over here creating a connected universe, letting other people come into your sandbox. You're building out these stories, and I know, me personally, especially as a creator who wants to see you succeed more than most people probably would,
Thank you.
we
Hey,
will do
thank you.
everything in our power to help you continue to push these books out.
Thank you very
Um,
much.
you got us. You,
Rookcity.com, folks.
it's right there on his
Yeah,
screen, and we'll also
right.
have that as well on the at the end of the episode. You look at the description, we'll have all the links in there so you can find this for yourself. Um, but yeah, when you look at a character, I keep thinking about how just how amazing this main character Sketch Night really is, because like,
Thank you.
again, I keep harping back to how powerful this character could be.
Mhm.
Like, because
Yeah,
there
sure.
is no limits, really. Like, at
Mhm.
least not that the character knows of. You know what I mean? Like, he has this book where he draws and things come to life. Or like
Yep.
you said, or he like can use it to like transport things. There's so many different like aspects of this, of his abilities, that are we're just scratching the surface of. And I don't know about anybody else, but I need to see more. I need it. I need it. Like,
Hey, it's
it's
coming.
something. And speaking of, when can they look out for the next entry into the Rook City universe?
Yeah, for sure. So the next entry would be Kodiak. Again, it is a one shot by Travis Gibb. He's the writer. And it's actually the artist that did Sketch It
Awesome.
on this book. So I mean, the art is going to be killer. The next we are in pre launch for Kodiak. for the end of March to about mid-April, and about like April 17th, 18th kind of thing. Is when Kodiak is gonna be live on Kickstarter. So we're gonna have a healthy runway of pre-launch, and people can click and get notified and stuff, and yeah, and then we're gonna launch it out, and it'll be the first Rook City One Shot, yeah, in the collection.
And then with all the other titles, they can get it directly from rookcitycomics.com, right?
Yes, 100%. So we our Kickstarter first. After the Kickstarter campaign, and once everybody gets their books and filled and everything, then it goes on the website. Also, alongside, if you want to pre-order Kodiak, when the campaign goes live, we will be setting up pre-orders on the website as well, which will ship alongside the Kickstarter.
Oh, that's awesome. And again, I definitely have to give you praise again for making a connected universe because I'm writing one book. It's called Here Walks Monsters,
Yeah.
and I have these ideas to potentially have connecting stories down the
Mhm,
road in
mhm.
different genres of comics. But you just went balls to the wall from the get go, and I like the idea of it being focused on one city because then you kind of make Rook City its own organic
Yes.
living thing
100%.
inside of these comic books.
Mhm.
And that is a very good it was a very great idea to nail it down to one place instead of trying to do like connect it across all over the
Yeah,
world. You literally
Chicago,
right.
and you know what
You
I
were like,
mean, and
boom, right here, Rook City. This is my
one
place.
city.
We're gonna have all these connected characters. And now I gotta ask, and you can choose not to answer. I'd understand if you didn't.
Okay.
Are we building towards like a Avengers Assemble kind of moment down the road?
Um, I'm very much not fearing in the Avengers Assemble way. I think down the line, if the books reach where I want the books to reach, I want to do a kind of like finale, um not series, but like a finale set of issues where it would be is it would be like extra long, like double length, like 40 page, and have it be like Sketch Night in Haven, um to kind of finish out both series
Okay.
on this one kind of climactic thing. But in terms of like a team or anything like that, not so much. The cool thing about doing a city though is, once Haven and Sketch and I are done, it's easy to go. Here's 5 years later, and here are the different kind of heroes and whatnot, or maybe some characters in the books that may not have a lot of screen time, but 5 years down the line, when the city changes, they might.
Oh man. So now I'm gonna have to go back and reread them and try to find these tiny Easter eggs you may have planted throughout the books. Um, but a couple more things. What made you decide to have sketch night on like a flying surfboard?
You know what? That was just like a cool factor for me. I love Treasure Planet.
Yes.
And that one scene in Treasure Planet where he's like on that like rocket board and he's like in the air and stuff, um, was just so goddamn cool. And I was like, anytime I make something where, and William, he's kind of in, obviously a wheelchair, but with Sketch like still having that like mobility device and whatnot, playing into how he moves as well. Yeah, was just a thing, and I was just like, I need to do this, and this is it, and it was yeah, I couldn't be happier
Oh yeah.
with it because it's just cool.
No, 100%. It was like I kind of like when I first read it, I thought like very it was more Static Shock than
Yeah,
even Spider-Man because Static has a lot of similarities when you got the the quippiness and everything
yeah,
like
sure,
that.
sure, sure.
Um, I always thought that Static was much cooler
Of
than
course,
Spider-Man.
of
So
course.
like when Sketch Night kind of has that same vibe, like where it's
Yeah.
this really cool, especially you look at you talk about black and red, the color scheme, and then
Yes.
you got him flying around on this surfboard. You got him creating all these things out of nothing. Like it's just so cool. Like and
Thank
that and
you. Thank you.
it feels so cliche and kind of like lazy just to say, man, it's just really cool. You should check it out. But I mean, it has all the context and all of like
For sure.
the stuff that you want from a great comic book, but
Yeah.
it also has that cool factor on top of it where it's just like, man, even if you're not like an in-depth reader like me who has to like pick every little tiny thing out,
Mm,
you can just truly enjoy this really cool character and just for lack of better hop on and enjoy the ride. That's
yeah.
really like this the whole book. It was just a great thrill ride from start to finish. And I commend you for doing it because like and I know
Thank you.
it's as a creator, I know how hard it is to accept like actual positive feedback because any good creator that I've at least any ones that I've met over the years, they're always the same way. It's like, thank you, that means a lot. And it's like you don't it's really hard to accept it. So
Yeah. The imposter
from
syndrome
it, it's
is
just
real.
it's horrible. It is
100%.
the bane of any creative person. So
For sure.
from someone who suffers from that exact same problem, take it from me, this book is fantastic.
Thank you so
And
much.
I could not be happier that we got to review it. I'm super excited to have it as one of our hook by the book. We're gonna eventually gonna get make stamps and that you could
Heck
like
yeah.
do, and we may even if you're up for it,
100%.
do like a special cover, an
Yeah.
exclusive. I've because I do that as well.
Unlimited run, hooked by the butt. I'm down for sure. Issue
Let's
two,
do it.
issue two sketch on our
Hey, well, because hey, that's the thing, because we're hooked. Like when
Yeah.
issue two comes out, we're like,
Oh, you guys are getting. You guys. Oh, you'll check your messages. You'll definitely be. You'll be getting issue two and all that. No, you guys have been amazing. Like you go through the interview circuit and you go through. You know what I mean of getting interviewed and then talking with the book and stuff like that. But you guys have really been amazing with your coverage of sketch Night and even having me on. Like I not only do I appreciate it, it's fun talking. You know what I mean? Like there is sometimes where you're just like this conversation is going right,
yeah,
but you know what I mean.
yeah.
Sometimes, right?
No,
But
I've been on an interview like that myself.
yeah, yeah,
I definitely understand.
for sure. No, but it's such a pleasure having you guys not only review the book but having these conversations. A lot of fun. Thank you so much.
No, absolutely, and you are always welcome. I had a blast talking with you, and I already know that Year is going to be very jealous that he didn't get to come on and have this conversation with us. So I'm sure he's going to be demanding that
Yeah,
we bring you on again very soon. But yeah, so we'll definitely have all of the information about you said Kodiak, right?
yeah, Kodiak, which was
Kodiak
the
coming
next
out
release. That was
soon, the
cool.
one shot connected to this great universe. Then we also have Haven 2 as well as Sketch Night 2 coming around the corner.
Coming around. Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
and listen, I, again, as a creator, I know how hard it is to get these things fully funded and get them out to all the hands that you can.
For sure.
We are a small podcast, but we will do everything in our power to help get that out because
Thank
the
you.
one thing that we agree on more than almost anything when it comes to comic books, me and Year, is that independent comics is where the best stories are being told.
Yeah,
And there are so many people that are just I only read Marvel. I only read DC.
for sure.
You're absolutely allowed to do that. But
Hmm.
I never understood the thought process of limiting yourself when there's so much great content out there that you can consume, like Sketch Night, like Here Walks Monsters, like
Hell yeah.
tons of different other books that are out. Like, I mean, we've had so many great indie comics, indie creators on for the last 4 episodes. We've had nothing but indie creators on, and they honestly, there are so many creators that do it just to do it
Mm,
and not because they want to tell a great story. Like they're in it for the paycheck. And anyone who just record anyone getting into comics for the paycheck,
Hey,
I
there's
can
better fields, brother. There, there's,
I can
there's
tell you
better.
right now, you're in the wrong business.
Yeah, it's not comedies, that's for sure. No,
Comics are not a get rich quick scheme any which way you slice it.
no, absolutely, well, absolutely not. And I like, for me, comics is this thing where I like, I'm not like, I'm a writer now, right? Like with Sketchside and Haven and all the other projects we got going on. But I'm not like the great English class guy. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Right.
like 50s in school, but like for me, comics is the first thing that I was ever like truly like great at. You know what I mean? Where it's like, hey, I'm 5'8", I'm not making the NBA.
Right.
That childhood dream died. Okay.
Listen,
Uh,
I
not
I get that.
it wasn't as
I
short
learned
as I
very young
wanted
I
it to
wasn't going to
be.
be the
Yeah,
starting shortstop for the New
right.
York Yankees. You know what I mean? Like,
But comics for me is just it's in my heart and soul. And everything I put out is I never want to things are only gonna get better. It's what I mean, things are only gonna get better, and I'm excited for what we have in the chamber.
no, and I'm very excited to see it. Um, yeah. So when it comes to your connected universe, I can't say enough about how great it is, and we will are gonna definitely gonna look forward to all the future entries into this universe. Is there anything you want to pitch? I want to go in a little bit more detail on what Kodiak is, so that everyone can
Yeah,
get
yeah,
really
for
hyped for
sure.
that.
No, I'd love to, 100%. So Kodiak takes place in District 2 of Rook City. And that's super interesting because the Devil Syndicate are vying for power of this one district. And pretty much whichever cousin of this family syndicate is able to take the district, gets it, kind of thing, right? And Kodiak takes place now. We talk about throwing you into the action. Kodiak takes place in this almost like apartment complex. Like I don't know if you've seen the movie like Raid.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 100%. Where it is this assault on this apartment complex, and we have this old hero. It's actually mentioned in Kodiak that he's past his prime, or mentioned in Sketch Night, that he's past his prime. That he used to be this vigilante, this big protector of the city, but has since gone quiet. When this assault happens on his apartment complex, he's like wearing an oxygen mask. He's an old man. He's like in his 60s. Um, and for people that are offended by that, in the 70s, if that's not old enough for you. um, and he has his daughter that took up the mantle, you know, and they both have to fight off this raid that's coming in. That's going to be taking over their apartment complex, and it really is this thing of, does he have it in him anymore?
Right.
And you throughout the issue, you see kind of like the slings and arrows of life and of wear and tear and of kind of this one last hurrah of donning the suit and saving these people. And that's where I'll leave it there. But it is
Fair enough.
yeah, it's at its core, it's this father daughter story. And it's filled with the action. If you love the action of Sketch Night, if you haven't gotten Sketch Night and you're interested, again, rookcity.com. But if you read Sketch Night and you're like, hey, I like this art, Kodiak is the same artist. So please, yeah, check it out.
Oh yeah. No,
Um,
we're definitely gonna be in on that, and not for nothing. I'm I'm staring 40 in the face, and if I had to, like, arm up and, like, defend my apartment building, I would be done. Like, I
yeah.
can't do I would take one step. I literally twisted my ankle stepping in my
Mm.
kitchen the other day.
Yeah.
Real quick, before we move on, I love, again, another very real character. An
Mm.
old man with looking at his daughter going, "Okay, I mean, we gotta do so. We gotta survive this somehow."
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like, man, let's put on the suit one last time. and like and do what you gotta do. It's very real. And that's the seems to be the very valid through line through your all of
Yep,
your books
100%.
is that even in this quote unquote fantastical world that has enhanced beings, it's still real human people.
Yep. Yeah,
And that's a
100%.
testament to your storytelling. Absolutely, I've been blown away.
Thank you.
And anything you got, anything you're writing, especially in this universe, whether it's hell, if you start writing stuff that's not in this universe, Planet Nerdtooine, we're all in.
Heck yeah. Hey, heck yeah. I'm definitely taking you guys up on that. I got some things
It is
unreleased.
quoted. It is now
Yeah.
documented. It is online.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Never
any
going away. You heard it here first, folks.
we have just might as well just prick a little finger, sign it in blood. We're good
Yeah,
to go.
exclusivity deal. To,
Was
to,
we can get a moving on here in a second, but we've been reviewing a whole bunch of books for this new company called Invader Comics,
oh,
and
Invader. Yeah, 100%.
we made a joke, me and Year, to get when we were talking offline about how like, are we like the official Invader like reviewers now? Like, because they just keep sending us books like, hey, you did
Mhm,
these two, you want to read these, you want to read this one, you want to read that.
mhm.
We're like, yes, send them. We'll read them all. Let's do it. Um, yeah, well,
No, Invader is great. I can't say enough nice things about Invader. Invader is super super cool. Um, yeah, the guys at Invader and what they're doing is just I think like taking indies and really putting a spotlight on the ones that just have a lot of punching power
yeah,
in the industry, and it's so good to have this publishing company that is you know kind of like this grassroots roots
yeah.
thing and have it get this kind of notoriety and have it get this yeah, and I've emailed back and forth with the guy from Invader and stuff, and yeah, they're just stand-up guys all around for sure.
Absolutely. And they really care about not only the industry, but
Mm.
getting stories out that in most cases would never have seen the light of day.
Yeah,
And
oh for
like,
sure.
and if any of like, especially like we reviewed The Digger, Do Not
Yep,
Disturb,
yep,
those are so good.
so
The
good. The
fact that,
Digger, like some of the pages in the Digger absolutely blew my
yep,
mind. And we talked kind of off show on where there's sometimes where you'll just see either like techniques or pages or whatever, and you'll go, God damn it. And from Invader, the Digger is one of those books where you look at those pages and you're like, holy shit, you laid it out like this. This is how
yep,
you did it. You did this splash page here.
brilliant.
Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing that is different now than ever before when it comes to indie comics. There's a lot more of us that instead of trying to like use each other as stepstones,
Mm,
we're just so happy that great stories are being told in such a
yes,
brilliant way that we're celebrating them all instead of like
100%.
trying to like, oh, mine's better. No, mine's better. It's like, no, that's awesome. That's fucking awesome. Let's everyone just read these books because
Yes.
they're so good. And Sketch Night is right up there with those,
Thank
honestly,
thank you so
especially
much.
especially in the superhero genre. Because like I said at the beginning of the show, I kind of stopped reading superhero comics because most of them I find very boring because like there are no
Yeah.
stakes, there are nothing
It's
special
bland
about them.
still. Yeah.
Sketch Night is not that.
Thank you.
Sketch Night,
We try.
Sketch Night is like a fresh pizza pie right out the
Uh,
oven.
Fresh
Forget
pizza
about
pie,
it.
forget about it.
Oh man. So, do you want to shout out any of your socials or anything else before we get out of here?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, obviously rookcitycomics.com. Yeah, Rook City Comics on the social medias, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, keep up with the Kickstarter page if you guys want. Yeah, those are pretty much it.
And like I said, just in case, we'll have all of those linked in the description below. So if you ever are wondering where you can find them, you can go either right to Rook City Comics or use the link on our page. I want to thank you so much for joining me
Thank
today.
you.
I wish we would have had the whole team here because I'm sure Year would have had some things that I forgot because he's really good at remembering and finding specific little things that I forget. Um, so I'm sure we'll have you on soon to talk about Kodiak again, or
For
talk
sure.
about have you on again to talk about Kodiak. My brain has stopped working there for a second. um, but yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
God, man, I can't wait to read the next installment in this great universe.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, I can't. I can't wait for it to be out for sure, for sure. And I again just thank you so much. The praise was high, and I just hope we can meet the bar. But no, again, you guys have been just amazing.
Hey, I have no doubt that you're gonna. And just you sound like a lot like the creators from Do Not Disturb. Like they were like, "Hey, you like the first couple issues? We might not land the plane. You might hate it by the time the series is over." And I looked at him. I said, "Y'all landing that fucking plane.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
call it
landed.
now. You're gonna land that shit. Don't worry." But yeah, I have no doubt that you're probably gonna outdo all of our expectations, like you did with these first couple already.
That's
That's my
that's what we're
opinion.
aiming for. That's what we're aiming for sure.
All right, man. Yeah. So, like I said, definitely take a look at everything that's going to be in the description here. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me here, and we can get you hooked up with Brayden. But until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.